If you ever look across the battlefield and see simply a lone Cygor standing there, it'd be a good idea to check your corners, because there's a good chance maybe there's just some doom blob of Kazarak the One-Eye, a Brave Shaman Lore of Wild, a bunch of Centaurs throwing axes, rank 9, by the way, including the Grog Hooves, and yeah, some Fury, or Harpies, not Furies, basically non-demonic Furies, pretty much, Harpies, and some Poison Warhounds. More Poison Warhounds over there. And there's even a wild Gorbel spotted. Yes, that's right, folks. This replay from Slade X, the legendary memer himself. Looking to have some fun here with the Beastmen and the Dark Elves. Dark Elves coming in hot with some Cold One Knights. Got some Doomfire Warlocks. The Nesh's Harvesters already going to go punch those Warhounds. Malekith gets Warp Gaze, so he can't move. The Eye of Morsley, of course. Regiment of Renown has that hard snare. And we see it throwing rocks already at the Dread Spears. We've got some Dark Shards with shields. Yeah, interesting to see the Malekith Dragon pick. He does have Soul Stealer and Chill Wind, along with Gaze of Malice, the bound ability. But yeah, the reverse rush already coming in. You can see Cygor gets landed on by Malekith out there in the distance, but the Beastmen going to start to get in here. We're going to see Cygor summon in the lines right here in melee. Brave Shaman Lore of Wild pulling up that Cygor summon rather than looking for, you know, a strong direct damage spell like the meta, you know, in quotations, something like, excuse me. In this case, with Lore of Wild specifically, what is that, Traderkin or Flock of Doom for Lore of Beasts? Here we see the Doomfire Warlocks getting kited a little bit by these 4 Centaurs throwing axes, all rank 9s. They've got great stats all around. And even if they were to get tangled up in melee a little bit here, they do okay, but obviously wanting to avoid melee as much as possible. Throw some axes there. Gorbel's going to go chase, and meanwhile the summoned Cygor is taking a lot of damage, but also tying up a whole bunch of units here. As you can see, the damage has been done somewhat by the chariots kind of running through these infantry. Meanwhile, Malekith just battling with the Cygor here. Nice 1v1, clean, as the dragon chomps his chin there. Little matched combat animation, sort of semi-matched. But that's going to take him some time. Malekith's attack stats are not amazing in sustained combat, so the Regiment of Renown defense will be able to hold out for quite some time. Murderous Prowess does get popped for the rest of the army, and we're going to see Gorbel charging on in, trying to force these Cold One Knights to stop so they can get axes thrown directly at them. That beautiful armor-piercing skirmish damage. And yeah, it's basically using these heroes to continue cycle charging. Gorbel kind of works like a chariot when he hits that roll animation. He can puncture through a number of units. Ooh, we have a wild Razorgore herd in here as well. I don't even know where they came from, but I'm glad they're here. The big old piggies getting in, the blob of spears. And this would be a brutal blob for a Flock of Doom right now, but alas, another summoned Cygor perhaps is on the way. We see the Brave Shaman pulling it up out of the ground right as it gets charged by the anti-large armor piercing of those Cold One Knights. Not going to be a comfortable situation at all for the Brave Shaman, but he's got some Harpies moving in to assist. He's got that Cygor, maybe getting some animations, but yeah, you can see the damage once the once those Cold One Knights start doing their animations. It's going to be quite brutal. Malekith still fighting the Cygor out there in the distance. And the Cold One, Dark Shard's just unloading right now, doing a ton of damage to the Centaurs. It's the one thing here the Centaurs really don't want to tangle with. I mean, obviously they don't really want to tangle with spears in melee, but managed to kite out the Doomfire Warlocks, shut them down, and now pulling back out of range of the Dark Shards, capitalizing on their somewhat limited range as yeah, Kazarak continues to just punch through everywhere. Malekith is just about finished off the Eye of Morsley, but during that time that he's been distracted, he's missed out on a big chunk of the battle where he could have been affecting things, potentially trying to snipe Kazarak. Kazarak's just on the Tuskor chariot. He's not even on the Razorgore chariot, so doesn't have his full complement of like armor and defensive stats and everything else. Nonetheless, still is taking some damage from the spears, but still, I mean, Malekith would be able to shut him down relatively easily on the dragon in comparison, but has had to take quite a bit of time dispatching that Cygor, which he finally does rout him off. Let's see if Malekith now turns to return to the rest of the battle. Yeah, Groggosaurs, of course, do have regenerations. They've still got 50 unit models intact and can regenerate quite a bit of the HP of those 50 unit models. The other units of Centaurs have taken some damage, but still doing just fine for the most part. Kazarak and the Gorbel. I love the pick of the Gorbel, honestly. It's just such a wild pick. You don't see these guys nearly enough anymore. They are quite the little wrecking balls. Unfortunately, their anti-large roll is a little bit tricky because they can tend to get bounced by other big monsters. Or anything really bigger than them, to be honest. But here... excuse me. Still dealing with the after effects of Nurgle's Plague. Just struck me down right there. But anyway, yeah. The heroic killing blow, Foe Seeker, Axe of Men actually allows Gorbel to cause terror here, so you can get a little terror route going on the remaining Dark Elf troops. And yeah, all these Dark Elf flying troops definitely suffering pretty badly. We do see finally a Soul Stealer coming in from Malekith as he gets involved in the battle, and is going to hit a bunch of important units here, including poor Gorbel. But yeah, Brave Shaman Lower Wild still hanging on for dear life. Doesn't have anything else to do except just fight, but has used its Cygor summons already. Let's see these Grog Hooves. They're going to avoid that engagement, get on over, try and pin Malekith on the ground. You can see the Poison Wolves coming in here as well. Obviously, their leadership's not going to hold up great against a dragon, but for just keeping Malekith on the ground. Grog Hooves also have poison and plenty of speeds. They can keep him locked here in jail as Gorbel and Kazarak both close the distance. Kazarak on his chariot still has a good enough charge bonus. I mean, it's a little bit diminished because it is, again, just the Tuskor, and he's a little bit tired, but still. Oh, there's the bounce for Gorbel. Get back up again, and get back in the fight. Kazarak moving in with those little Tuskors, Rapid Surge, attack, and yeah, if we pull the health bars back up, you can see the attacks are definitely landing on Malekith. He routes the Grog Hooves. Oh, and a wild Cygor Rock flies through the screen as the Eye of Morslip came back with 19 hit points. Oh, it's so painful for the Dark Elves, no doubt. But yeah, Malekith gets surrounded by the Beastmen heroes, and that will pretty much be game. So interesting, very unusual game, I must say. I always appreciate Slade's antics. But especially the Gorbel pick here. Gorbel getting a finalizing chop on Malekith's dragon. That will be the game. So yeah, fun one from Slade for sure. This Dark Elf player really didn't know what they were getting themselves into. Ultimately, Malekith does pay for himself. But yeah, just the amount of time it took him to kill that Eye of Morslip was surprising to me, and ultimately did come back to bite him pretty hard. As these rank 9 Centaurs reign supreme, the Eye of Morslip also pays for itself in that whole situation as well, which is nice. Gorbel getting a respectable nearly 1,500 values, same for Kazarak, just over 1,500, so... yeah, definitely nice to see, for sure. We'll check the cost on these Centaurs throwing axes here in just a minute, but I'd imagine not that much more expensive than 1,100 or so. Yeah, the cavalry for the Dark Elves. Cold One Knights did well. The other ones, these Doomfire Warlocks, definitely struggled. But to be expected given the build that they were up against. But yeah, I'm just curious for the Beastmen here. He's rank 9, so, I mean, obviously, Grog Hooves are 1125. As a Regiment of Renown, they probably get a little bit of a discount, whoops, on their, yeah, like 20 gold discount. Not too much, but still, they get a lot of other traits to benefit from that, in particular the healing and the poison. Very, very important. But yeah, only like 1150 for these guys, so basically all of them paid for themselves, which is quite impressive, honestly. And it's not a unit that I had really thought to chevron very much, but it's definitely one that you know, in hindsight, might consider. Let's see. Yeah, the scaling on their attack and defense isn't perfect. They don't get a true, like, +1 per rank, like some units do. But still, overall, it is a unit that benefits from having increased leadership, melee defense in particular, melee attacks, since they are kind of a hybrid cavalry, right? That perfect vigor, as long as they can maintain their leadership into the late game. Those stats, you know, you'll get quite a bit of benefit out of them, as opposed to chevroning another unit that might lose its stats over time due to vigor loss. Anyway, that's it for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you like this sort of content, be sure to like and subscribe. Hit that bell notification button. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.